Goats breeding like rabbits? Not quite. Right, listen up, farmers. We're talking goats today. Specifically, goat breeding. It's a fascinating topic that requires a bit more finesse than you might initially think. Now, you might think it's as simple as chucking a couple of billies in with the nannies and letting nature sort itself out. But there's a lot more to it than just that. You need to consider the health, genetics, and even the temperament of your goats. But trust me, it's a bit more complicated than that. Timing, for instance, is crucial. You need to know the optimal breeding season and the signs that your goats are ready to mate. Missing these signs can lead to missed opportunities and a lot of frustration. If you want healthy kids and a productive herd, you need to get the timing right. This means understanding the estrus cycle of your does and ensuring that your bucks are in peak condition. A well-timed breeding can result in a higher success rate and healthier offspring. Get it wrong, and you could end up with a load of randy goats and no kids to show for it. Disaster. Not only will this affect your herd's productivity, but it can also lead to behavioral issues among your goats. They can become restless and even aggressive. So, planning is key. Keep a detailed record of your goats' breeding cycles and health status. This will help you make informed decisions and avoid any potential pitfalls. Nutrition also plays a vital role. A well-balanced diet ensures that your goats are in the best possible condition for breeding. This includes providing them with essential vitamins and minerals that support reproductive health. Don't forget to consult with a veterinarian. Regular health checkups can catch any issues early on, ensuring that your goats are fit and ready for breeding. A vet can also provide valuable advice on managing your herd's health. Creating a comfortable environment for your pregnant does is also crucial. Stress can negatively impact their health and the health of their kids. Make sure they have a quiet, safe space to rest and give birth. And once the kids are born, they need special care. This includes ensuring they get enough colostrum in the first few hours of life, which is essential for their immune system. Bottle feeding may be necessary if the mother is unable to nurse. So, if you're ready to become a goat breeding pro, read on. With the right knowledge and preparation, you can ensure a healthy, productive herd that will thrive for generations to come. Kenyan climate, sunshine, and goats. Kenya, a land blessed with abundant sunshine and a vibrant culture, is also home to a unique and fascinating aspect of rural life: goats. These hardy animals are a common sight across the sun-drenched fields and rolling landscapes of this beautiful country. Kenya, glorious land of sunshine, and goats. The goats here are not just livestock, they are an integral part of the rural economy and daily life. They provide milk, meat, and even companionship to the people who raise them. But there's more to these goats than meets the eye. But that sunshine, while lovely for a tan, can play havoc with your breeding plans. The intense heat can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it provides the perfect environment for goats to thrive. But on the other, it can also create challenges that farmers must navigate carefully. Goats, you see, are quite picky about the weather. They have their own preferences and needs, and understanding these is crucial for successful goat farming. The weather can influence their behavior, health, and even their reproductive cycles. Too hot, and they'll be too busy panting to even think about romance. When the temperatures soar, goats seek out shade and spend their time trying to stay cool. This means that their energy is focused on survival rather than reproduction, which can be a challenge for farmers looking to expand their herds. Too cold, and well, let's just say their enthusiasm for extracurricular activities tends to wane. Cold weather can be just as problematic as the heat. When the temperatures drop, goats huddle together for warmth and become less active. This can lead to a decrease in breeding activity, which is another hurdle for farmers. Then there's the rain, or lack thereof. Rain is a crucial factor in the life of a goat farmer. It affects the availability of food and water, which in turn impacts the health and productivity of the goats. Too much rain can lead to muddy conditions and health issues, while too little can result in drought and scarcity of resources. Dry spells mean less food, and a hungry goat is about as interested in breeding as I am in a salad, not one bit. During dry periods, the vegetation that goats rely on becomes sparse, and they have to work harder to find enough to eat. This can lead to malnutrition and a decrease in reproductive activity, making it a tough time for both the goats and the farmers who depend on them. In conclusion, While the Kenyan climate offers many benefits for goat farming, it also presents unique challenges that require careful management and adaptation. Understanding the needs and behaviors of goats in different weather conditions is key to maintaining a healthy and productive herd. So, the next time you see a goat basking in the Kenyan sunshine, remember that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. Fit as a fiddle, ready to breed. Now, how can you tell if your nannies are up for a bit of romance? Well, they're not exactly subtle about it. First off, you'll notice a lot of tail wagging. And I'm not talking about a gentle sway, more like a metronome on high speed. Then there's the bleeding. Expect a lot of that, and I do mean a lot. And if you see them getting rather friendly with the fence post, well, that's your cue to introduce the billy goat. Just be sure to wear earplugs. Timing is everything. When to breed in Kenya. So, when's the best time to unleash the billy goat? In Kenya, it's generally after the long rains, around August to September. This gives them time to fatten up on the lush grass and be in prime condition for mating. Plus, the weather is usually a bit cooler then, which the goats appreciate. But remember, this is just a guide. Keep an eye on your goats and the weather and adjust your breeding schedule accordingly. Section 5. Small herd, big herd, managing the mating game. Now, managing a few goats is one thing, but what about a whole herd? When you have just a handful of goats, it's relatively easy to keep track of their needs, behaviors, and health. But as your herd grows, so do the complexities of managing them, especially when it comes to breeding. Well, you could just let them get on with it, but a bit of planning goes a long way. Proper planning can help ensure that your goats are healthy, that the breeding process is efficient, and that you get the best possible outcomes in terms of offspring. This means taking into account the genetics of your goats, their health status, and the timing of breeding. For smaller herds, you can use a system called hand mating. Hand mating involves selecting specific pairs of goats to breed, which allows for more control over the genetics and health of the offspring. This method is particularly useful if you are trying to improve certain traits in your herd, such as milk production or disease resistance. This basically means playing Cupid and putting individual nannies in with the billy for a few days. During this time, the farmer can monitor the goats closely to ensure that mating occurs and that both the billy and the nanny are healthy and stress-free. This method also allows for better record keeping, as you can note the exact dates of mating and expect the kidding dates more accurately. If you've got a larger operation, pasture mating might be more your style. Pasture mating is less labor-intensive and allows the goats to mate naturally in a more relaxed environment. This method is often used in larger herds where it would be impractical to manage each mating individually. This is where you let the billy loose with the nannies for a set period. The billy will naturally seek out the nannies that are in heat, and mating will occur over the course of several weeks. This method can be very effective, but it requires careful management to ensure that the billy does not become overworked and that all nannies have the opportunity to mate. Just be prepared for a bit of a free-for-all. With pasture mating, you may not have as much control over the exact timing of births, and there is a higher chance of injuries or stress among the goats. However, with proper management and monitoring, pasture mating can be a very successful and efficient way to manage the breeding of a large herd. Regardless of the method you choose, the key to successful goat breeding is careful planning and monitoring. By understanding the needs of your herd and taking the time to plan your breeding strategy, you can ensure that your goats are healthy and productive, and that your herd continues to thrive. Section 6. Beyond breeding, a few more things. Breeding goats in Kenya, or anywhere for that matter, isn't just about letting nature run its course. To truly succeed, you need to be a proper shepherd to your flock. Think of it like owning a classic car. Regular maintenance and care are crucial. You wouldn't just fill up a vintage Aston Martin with cooking oil and hope for the best, would you? The same goes for your goats. Section 7. Feeding for fertility. A full tummy, a happy mummy. Just like a finely tuned sports car needs the right fuel, your goats need proper nutrition to be in top breeding condition. Forget those sad-looking hay bales. We're talking good quality pasture, supplemented with minerals, and maybe even some tasty treats like fruits and veggies. A well-fed goat is a fertile goat, and that means more kids bouncing around your farm. Section 8. Health is wealth, keeping your goats in tip-top shape. Now, even with the best breeding schedule and diet, things can go wrong if your goats aren't healthy. Regular vet checkups are a must, especially for vaccinations and parasite control. And always be on the lookout for any signs of illness like runny noses, coughs, or just a general lack of enthusiasm for their usual antics. Section 9. The kidding countdown. What to expect when you're expecting. Right, so you've mastered the breeding timeline, your goats are happy and healthy, and now you're eagerly awaiting the pitter-patter of tiny hooves. Exciting times. But before the big day arrives, make sure you've got a clean, dry, and safe kidding area set up. And trust me, you don't want to miss the miracle of goat birth. It's nature's own reality show, only with less shouting and more adorable baby animals. Section 10. Breeding success, more kids, more milk, more money. So there you have it, a crash course in goat breeding, Kenyan style. Get the timing right, keep your goats healthy and well-fed, and you'll be rewarded with a thriving herd and a tidy profit. Remember folks, happy goats equal happy farmers, and happy farmers, well, they just make the world a better place. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with a pint and a plate of... Actually, make that a burger.